Hey boys, it's a spy!
Hey guys, Halocker here with part 7 of our Unity3D tutorial. Before I get started, I'd just like to talk about a few things. I know I do this pretty much every video, but I just wanted to say a few things because it's a bit of a different case this time. You may have noticed, or you may have not, that part 1 of my tutorial series got taken down by YouTube. I still don't know why. There hasn't been a reason. I've been informed that it has nothing to do with the content of the video, rather something I did when I was uploading it, or in the comments or something. I'm not really sure, but essentially the video got removed. My channel views have pretty much gotten cut in half because, you know, that's where a lot of my views are coming from. So that video, it ended with 65,000 views, like 300 comments, 500 likes, something like that. So just wanted to say thanks for that. I re-uploaded it. If you wouldn't mind checking it out once more just to get yourself refamiliarized with all of the interface. I mean, I think it would be a good idea to do it anyway, and it would really help me out because, you know, getting those views so I can get back up to the place where I was before. And if you haven't already, then subscribe. That'd be great, so you can keep up with all the other parts of this tutorial. I also haven't uploaded anything in a while. It's because I've been kind of sick. No, not sick. Kind of busy with school, as well as other things. So that's why. Hopefully I'm going to just continue this right off into part 8 and have them both uploaded at the same time, just so you have something a little bit more to go on. I'm going to be trying uploading like 2 videos at a time, just so that it's more, you know, there's just more content. So anyway, back onto this. I was originally going to do something more with the spawn system, but I thought I would just take the requests that I've been getting and go straight to health, attacking, all that stuff. So if we play it the way it is right now, it's pretty basic right now. You just have this thing that follows you, and yeah, that's really just about all we have right this point. So if we're gonna have these enemies attack us, first of all we need to have health, and health can just be stored in a basic variable, and we're gonna keep this in a separate script. So we're gonna go to our JavaScript folder, create JavaScript, and we're going to name this player attributes, because this is where all the stuff is going to be. So we're going to open it up, and then once again, this is new. I've just kind of learned to work with this. It's actually pretty useful. So anyway, first thing we're going to need is obviously a variable for health. So var player health is an integer, so it's going to be a number because, you know, your health is a number. Pretty simple. And then let's see, what else do we need? For right now, that's all we're going to need. Function start, we want to start off with full health. So player health equals 100. Let's see. Now we need to just make what happens when we die. This script is going to be consistently very basic. There really isn't that much to put in this script, which is good because you kind of want to keep it, you know, everything as clean as possible. So in function updates, we're going to put an if statement, because if our player health, sorry, I'm typing around the microphone, is less than or equal to 0, then we want to die. Now we're just going to make a new function for this, just because I've started really understanding functions and I realize it's just the way I prefer to do it. So we're going to put death like that, and then close it off. Now we actually have to make that function. Go function death. Yeah. Okay. So what do we want to happen when we die? We can just set it to, I don't know, let's say print dead for right now. That's all we'll do. Okay, and we also need to make it, we also need to have a function for subtracting health. So we're going to go to function subtract, function subtract health, and then we're going to put player health minus minus, for right now anyway. Basically, whenever subtract health is called, it is going to subtract 1 health. Now, that's about it for the player, for the moment anyway. We're going to go back to Unity, and as you see we have an error. I spelled something wrong. Yep, there needs to be a cap there. Always double check. Okay, I never follow my own guides. I mean, I'm kind of stupid sometimes. We need to attach this to player so that it does something. Make sure everything's showing up fine. Let's quickly play and see if our health goes up to 100. Yes, it does. Now we need to go to cube AI because we want the cube to be attacking, so we have to edit the cube's artificial intelligence. And there's going to be a few things we're going to be taking out here. If you'll remember, we have it set so that, like, if it's in a certain range, like if it's in the trigger and you click, it subtracts health. We're going to take that out. We're actually going to be making a shooting thing later, but that's off topic. Right now we're going to be making it actually attack the player. So let's clear off some space, and then let's see, what do we have to do? We have to first make a variable called player distance, because we need to make sure we have the distance between the player and the enemies. So var player distance goes integer, and we also need to actually have a player variable here so we know what our player is. Var player equals game object, and before we forget, we need to assign what the player variable is, like what the player is. So we're going to go function start, and we're going to go player equals game object dot find player. Close that off, and then now that we have the player, we need to assign the distance. So we want it to constantly be getting a new, like, refresh the amount of distance. So we're going to do this in function update, and we're going to put player distance equals, let me see if I can remember, it's vector3 dot distance, and I'll explain this once I'm done typing it. Player dot transform dot position. What comes after that? Transform dot position. Okay, basically what this is player distance, which is our variable, equals a vector3 dot distance. This is a very useful little bit of code. Basically, vector3, as you know, is the location x, y, and z, and distance basically just gives you the difference between whatever's in the parentheses. So it's saying the difference between, and then here's where we put the player. You want the difference between the player transform and the player transform position, and you want your own transform dot position. So basically it's saying find the difference between the player and us. Okay, so now that we have that stored, we can just go straight to an if statement. So if player distance is less than or equal to 2, then whoops. Let's see. We're actually going to do something a little bit different here. If we were to just put like a function here, what would happen is when we play, it would actually just like spam us, and we would go into negatives, and it would be like insane. So we're going to do something a little bit different. I'll explain it as I go. It's going to be let's see, let me think. We also need to add a variable for attacking, because we need to know if we're attacking or not. So it's going to be a boolean. Function start, we need to make it so we're not attacking automatically. Okay, and then this is going to be a little bit weird. Basically, we're going to just say invoke. No, whoops. We're going to say if exclamation mark attacking, and then here we're going to put invoke applied image. I'll explain this all in 1 second. Okay, now to explain. When you have a question mark, instead of saying like if true or false, it's sort of like another way of saying it. Like if attacking is switched, essentially, like I don't know, it's hard to explain. I'll provide a link in the description to that, but just trust me, this is what you need to do here. And then invoke, it's sort of like, it basically, it runs a function, but it only runs it after like the wait time specified here. So we need to make a function called apply damage. Oops, so we're just going to do that over here. Okay, and then in apply damage, we're going to do something a little bit different as well. We're going to be trying to step it up a little bit here and say, let's see, what is it? See if I can remember. It's just player dot send message and then subtract health. So basically Unity has a built-in thing where you can send messages. Basically, like, you can run a function in another script using send message. So since we already have player, we can go player and then send it a message to run the function subtract health. So, oh, and then we also need to make it so attacking is false, because we're not going to be attacking again. We don't want it to like spam, so. Whew, okay. Now, let's just go over this one more time. Basically, if you're attacking and you're in the distance is less than or equal to 2, then you invoke apply damage every 3 seconds, and you send the message every 3 seconds to subtract health. So now let's see what happens when we play, but first we have an error. It would seem I have too many of these here. Oh, there we go, that's a problem. Pallier distance. See, I do this kind of thing all the time. I'm afraid we do need something there. Oh, okay. No. There we go. Okay, now let's go to our enemy. First of all, just to make things less crowded, let's make it stop spawning and focus just on one enemy at this point. Let's see, AF follows fine. It should say player, non-object, and then you should see something here that says distance. So if we click play, you should see the player distance over in the corner. See how it's changing every time you get closer or farther away from the enemy. And let's see. If we get close, attacking should be checking. That's kind of strange. Okay, looks like we have yet another error. Although it does say dead, which I will explain in a minute. We need to do something else that I forgot here. Somewhere it's not calling, oh, we forgot to do that. I'm so stupid sometimes. We have to put attack equals true. Because when it's applying damage, we want it to be true. So let's play that again and let's see if it checks. Yep, attacking, and if we get farther away, it should be, yep, there we go. When we get close, we get farther away, it unchecks. Now, let's play that again, but selecting our player and look at our health, which is right there. Let's just let it attack us. And you can see it is going down. So, that's essentially it. There's a few things we'll need to fix later, but that's it for enemy attacking you. Now we're going to make it so you attack the enemy. And, you know, I'm bored of clicking. Who wants to click? I want to shoot something. So we're actually going to make our player shoot. So what we're going to do is go to JavaScript, create JavaScript, and I'm just going to call it shoot. And then we're going to open it up. Now shooting is actually not as hard as you would think it is. It's actually pretty simple. First we're going to need a variable for what we're going to be shooting. So I'm going to call this var shot game object. And then we also need, that should be it actually, function start, nothing there for the moment. And then function update is where all the magic happens. So we want it to fire a projectile whenever we hit whenever we click. Okay, so we're gonna go if input dot get button down fire1. If we fire1 means click. It's I don't understand it either, but whatever. Now this is where it gets kind of weird. We're gonna say var projectile because we're making a variable just for this click. So just go along with this. Equals instantiate. You've heard that before. Shots transform dot position quaternion dot identity. You may have seen this somewhere else. It's not too uncommon of a script. And then we're gonna go projectile dot rigid body. No, everything's fine. Dot add force transform dot forward times 2000. And we're gonna close it off, and then I'm gonna explain. Okay, so basically we're creating a projectile. So basically we're gonna put all of this basically right here. So we're instantiating our shot object. We're creating a shot object at our position, and quaternion.identity. I'm not gonna get too much into this, but it's I'm just gonna leave that. Just that you need to have that there when you're spawning something. It needs to stay along like the z-axis. And then we're gonna go projectile.rigid body because you need to call the rigid body of the object. Add force. Add force lets you like sort of push objects, like move them, but not move them, to sort of add force. Basically, when you have a rigid body, it's physics, right? So it adds like a force, and then the physics replies to that force. So it's not moving it, it's just applying force. And then we're going to do transform.forward, which is, I believe, along the z-axis. So we want it to push along the z-axis times 2000, because if you don't, it would give you almost nothing. So we're going to actually create, oh, whoops. I do this every time. You have to add another thing here because there's one here. So there should be one there, and there's one here, so there should be one there. And now we actually need to create a new game object. So we're going to go to player, main camera. We're going to go to game object, create other cube. This will get replaced eventually, but for right now it'll do. We're going to make this into a small, what? That's kind of weird. Oh, that's silly me. It's inside the other one. Okay, we're going to make it kind of small and thin. Like so. Okay, and then we're going to move it in front of the character so that you can see it in your viewpoint. Sort of like, we're getting there. Hold on. We're going to need to rotate it because you want it to be facing along the axis it's going to be shooting. So oh boy, okay. Okay, that's good enough. It sort of looks like a Quake gun or something, but basically for right now, that's our weapon of choice. We're going to attach it to the main camera, because if you attach it to the main camera, then when you look around, it rotates with the camera instead of just with the player, which just rotates only along one axis. And then we're going to go to cube, and we're going to rename it shooter. And then we're going to attach our shoot script to it. And then now we need to make a bullet. So let's just go to game object, create other sphere. And we're going to make this a bit smaller. And then we're going to go to component physics rigid body to add a rigid body to it. And we're actually going to make it trigger. I'll explain that later. And then we're going to actually have to create this prefab. So go to your prefabs folder. Whoops, and create prefab. And then we're going to name this shot. Now drag the sphere into shot. And then go to shooter. and then select for your shot, select shot because you want it to be shooting this object. And now let's see what happens when we click play. Okay, so as you can see, some weird things are happening. It's definitely spawning, but it seems to be not shooting them where we want. As you can see, they appear to be like going at the speed of light. And yeah, there's a few problems here. As you can see, it's kind of not working as we would have hoped. We're actually going to, I'm not really sure why that's happening, to be honest. Let's see. I believe it's actually shooting this way. So we're gonna need to rotate it because see the blue is along the line that it's shooting. So I'm backwards on this, I apologize. Need to have the blue line. Oh wait, let's hope that worked. Yes, it did. Okay, as you can see, they're kind of shooting a little bit fast, but we are in fact shooting a projectile. Looks kind of cool, but it's not really the effect we want. We'll add a cooldown later, but for right now this will do. But we're actually just gonna lower the force a bit. Let's try like 1,500, and then see what happens because that was a bit fast. There we go. That's a little bit more tame. Okay, now we need to make these things actually damage the enemy. So again, we're going to go back to our cube AI and see all this stuff we had here earlier with like taking damage. Well, we're going to take all this out and we're going to delete it all. So delete everything function on trigger enter and on trigger exit, and then in function update delete all of this, the take damage and input, take that out. We are actually going to still use on trigger enter. So function on trigger enter, other collider, if other dot tag equals, I believe it's 2 equals. If other dot tag equals shot, I'll explain this in a minute. Then health minus minus, that should be sufficient for now. Okay, now basically we're gonna assign, we're basically saying if something enters its trigger and it's tagged shot, then subtract health. Now there's a few things we need to change. First of all, we need to make sure that our prefab is tagged shot. As you can see, if you go up to tag here, there is no tag for shot. So we're gonna go to add tag, tags, and where it says element 0, you're just gonna type in shot, and then when you go back to your shot, it'll be there. And then now we have to make sure it's trigger, and then we go back to our enemy, and I believe there's something we need to change. Yes, there is. As you can see, we had this big collider here so that we could tell if the player was close enough. That's going to cause problems because whenever we shoot and it hits this, it's going to damage him. We don't want that. So instead of trying to manually resize that thing, you can actually just go here and say reset, and it'll put it right back to where it was. So now when we click play and we aim at him, whoops, okay, get away from me, and we shoot him, it's kind of hard to see here. Let me see if I can do this a little bit better. Enemy, pay close attention to their health here. I don't know why he's going so fast, but every time we click, it is in fact shooting. I'm not really sure what's going on here. Oh, the gun is actually like getting stuck on him. It's stopping me from moving backwards. That's what it is. We'll fix that. For right now, don't worry about it. But essentially, when we shoot him, his health does go down. But health going down really doesn't mean anything. So we're actually going to go to QAI, and in function update, this is really messy. We're gonna have to clean it up later. Not sure. Wait, what? For some reason this got excluded from function update, but we need to make sure that if our health is less than 1, then we need to do all of this. So I'm not sure why there was a thing there, but we need to make sure that it's not there anymore, and basically make sure that everything here is in the update function. Not really sure why it's not. That must have just been a mistake I looked over. But anyway, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, and he's dead. Okay, so that worked. We also need to make sure that we can't shoot the bullets go right through him at this point. So we're actually going to go over here, and we're going to say, I believe it's just destroy other, and you'll see what that should do. For right now, we'll just leave it. But yeah, that's it. So basically what we did in this video is we got our enemy to attack us and have health. We were able to shoot him this time instead of just lamely clicking. And there's more good stuff to come. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Also, check out my website at Unity3D-knowhow.webs.com. I respond to all of your forum posts. I have 2 admins on here helping me out. You can just go to the forums and then errors JavaScript and then create a new topic following the guidelines, of course. Right now, the login with Facebook button, I coded it wrong. It's kind of broken right now. So if you're seeing that, just ignore it and log in with your email and just write. It's easy. I'm not going to send you emails. Although I do recommend setting it so that you get emails every time I respond to one of your questions. So yeah, that's about it. I actually, this site has been doing pretty well. My stats over here are as such. Yeah, it's been rough. If we go to my Social Blade stats, you can see kind of where I was, getting upwards of 27 subscribers a day. Here I got 2,000 views a day. It was doing really well, and then boom, video got removed, and now I'm getting like what's my average? 342.3 views a day. Yeah, I mean, I guess nothing lasts forever, but anyway, thanks for checking out my channel. Be sure to subscribe for part 8, as well as any other part that I ever make, and also check out my gaming channel. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, add me, like my Facebook page, whatever. I post whenever I get new stuff there. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.